everybody. Welcome to TV3's Game of the Week as we return to Merrill Field and the Cony Rams do Southern Division battle with the Oxford Hills Vikings. Oxford Hills with a record of 3-1. They lost their first one last week to a very tough Winslow team up at Winslow, a game that was a defensive battle until Winslow broke it open in the third quarter. And Cony, that's gone 0-4, but has improved game by game. They have had pretty good defense. Their offense has been sputtering, as has Oxford Hills. So both teams, today we see a pair of teams that have trouble with their offenses. Their defenses are adequate. In Oxford Hills' case, they have an excellent defensive team. So Oxford Hills comes in the favorite, but Cony trying to win their first game in Class A in the last couple of years. And I think, Buzz, perhaps they have a chance to do it here today with, if they play some pretty good ball, they can spring an upset.
Well, Cony's been the unfortunate situation this year. If they didn't have any bad luck, they wouldn't have had any luck at all. They didn't get any luck in the draw as far as the teams in the Northern Division that they had to play in the Inter-North-South Division play for the first 4 weeks of the season. The four teams that they had to play in the Northern Division had a combined record of 13-3, as they had to play Mount Blue, Winslow, Waterville, and Lawrence.
Okay, and we're going to come back and take a closer look at these two teams with our scouting report in 1 minute.
Shaw's presents fruits and vegetables so remarkably fresh, so naturally sweet. They almost speak for themselves. Shaw's. The time is ripe.
Where are they? You'll hear whoop on these darn trees and shrubs.
First the flood, now this. There it is. Wingate Lake is still in the oil business. Meanwhile, inside...
Hello, Wingate Lake Oil Company. Yes, we're still in the oil business. In fact, we've expanded our service department, and we still match the prevailing cash oil price. No, the Jolly Green Giant doesn't work here.
Wingate Lake Oil, Hollowell.
Now, Dave Daniels and Buzz Fresnel back at Merrill Field as both teams on the field going through their preliminary warm-ups. And Oxford Hills comes in with a record of 3-1, as I mentioned. They beat Skowhegan, shut them out, in fact. Their big victory so far was that 15-13 win over Mount Blue. That was of the upset variety, and that set Oxford Hills up as a legitimate contender in the Southern Division. They cruised through Brewer, and then were defeated by Winslow handily, although it was a very defensive standoff until the third quarter, as I mentioned. Winslow ended up defeating them 27-7 convincingly, and Winslow in that game established themselves as perhaps the favorite in the Northern Division at this point. Cony has lost to Mount Blue, who shut them out, Lawrence by only 5, and then they lost to Winslow and to Waterville, but only by a 10-0 count to the Panthers up at Waterville. That was an indication of improvement of Cony, and Cony ready to make some changes today in an effort to shake things up a little bit and try to provide a little offense, get some blocking in that offensive unit, and try to improve their defense with a few changes there. Buzz, I think we may be right for an upset.
Well, this game with the standings right now, of course, means an awful lot more to Oxford Hills than it does to Cony. Cony is, almost in the position of trying to be the spoiler in the Southern Division. Our neighbors down a little bit south of us in Gardner would like to see Cony come up with a win because they're trailing the Vikings by 1 game. But they have their hands full today as they're down at Morse, a team that has surprised quite a few folks from the Southern Division this year.
Okay, individually, Mount Blue, Oxford Hills doesn't have that much for offensive firepower. There are 2 running backs, Eiselman and Quinn, averaging just over 3 yards per carry between them, about 3.5 yards per carry. So their running game has not been functioning too well. And, of course, Cony, to counter that, has Higgins at tailback with an average of 4.1, and he's fourth in the league in total yards. But they have been unable to spring him for any real long gains to provide that running punch to the offense. He really has not had outstanding blocking, and that has hurt Cony. Cony, of course, will go to the end, the big end, Burns, and Burns is a very effective receiver, has good hands. The question has been Foreman having time to throw the football. We may see a change in quarterback today in that Mark Cameron, 156-pound sophomore, may get the nod starting at quarterback, but we'll wait till kickoff so we know for sure on that. Also, they have moved Billy Carrad to fullback to provide some more power and blocking in that position. So Cony making changes, shaking things up, trying to get out of the doldrums here with an 0-4 record. And their defense is capable of playing a good, solid game if they put it all together. We'll be back with the opening kickoff. The Cony Rams against the Oxford Hill Vikings after this.
To present your pal Al, the building bug, with this outstanding buy. Imagine entering your home through dramatic Peachtree doors. Imagine brightening your home with exquisite Peachtree windows. Then accenting it with Peachtree swinging patio doors and sliding patio doors. Peachtree insulated windows and doors are more beautiful in line. Peachtree windows and doors.
This Halloween, treat your family to the Disney Channel. You'll be giving them something to enjoy all year long. The Disney Channel is filled with exciting programs that bring you the best in family entertainment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In October, don't miss the world television premiere of Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty. Subscribe to the Disney Channel today.
Here's the Cony High School Band and our national anthem from Merrill Field. Toss of the coin taking place at midfield. Here are the officials for this afternoon's game between the Cony Rams and the Oxford Hills Vikings. Frank Barkley is the referee. The umpire is Bob Miller. The head linesman, John Murphy. Line judge is John Coughlin, and the timer, Bob McGuire. And it's an overcast day, Buzz, and actually pretty ideal conditions. There's very little wind, if any, blowing.
I was a little nervous about 10 o'clock, 10:30. It was raining pretty hard, but it's still overcast. Looked like there might be some showers out to the west there, but maybe we'll get this in without getting too wet.
So the Cony team huddling around their coach, as you can see. On the far side, the Oxford Hills Vikings with the white jerseys, the yellow pants and helmets, and the green numerals. And Cony in their home red jerseys with the white pants and the red helmets. As we mentioned, Cony comes in 0-4 on the season. They are in the Southern Division section of their schedule now. And we'll see what the Rams can do on their home turf as we await the opening kickoff. Ed Ashleman to kick it away for the Vikings. Tiger Hatch is deep and in the middle for the Rams. Hatch at 15. Ball is loose, covered up by Tiger Hatch at the 30. A 15-yard return. First man down was Mark LeBlond, a sophomore, 130-pound, 5'5" kick coverage man for Oxford Hills. So we'll get a look at that vaunted Oxford Hills defense that has been so effective through the season. And Mark Malcolm leads the Cony offense out of the huddle. Billy Carras, number 21, opening at fullback as they set the power I. And the tailback is Higgins. Dameron gets the call at quarterback. And Higgins on the carry might have a couple of grudging yards. So a couple of changes in that Cony offense. And as they unpile, and Mark Shaw, the fullback, offensively, and the defensive linebacker led the charge. Shaw, one of the leading defenders on Oxford Hills. In that Cony offense, number 40, Devin Sabin, is a wingback to the right side. Dameron on the pitch. The sophomore quarterback gives it to Higgins. He's stacked up after just barely getting by the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by the Hills defense. Once again, leading the charge was Mike Shaw. Rodney Bartlett, defensive tackle there to help him out. Number 70. The Cony offensive line, the tackles are Dave Meager and Josh Ferry. The guards are Mike Massey and Dave Coleman, and the center is Mark Malcolm. Burns is the right end, Gervais the left end. Higgins drives nowhere near enough for the first down, has maybe 2 at most. Number 56 was there, Mike Carroll, to make the stop for the Hills. So Cony faced with a punting situation on their first possession. Didn't take long for Oxford Hills to show how solid they are on defense. But
no, they were playing the run, looking for the run, and that's all they got.
Dave Coleman to do the kicking. Plenty of time to kick it away. Has a 31-yard average. This will be short. Fair catch call at the 42. Only a 24-yard kick from the line of scrimmage for Cony. So Oxford Hills has excellent field position to start their first possession. Well, Oxford Hills played Winslow very tough last week. Until the third quarter, when Winslow broke it open on a long scoring run by Ian Robinson, their fine tailback. Slashing up the middle for a couple, maybe 3, is Ed Ashleman, the fullback. He's a senior, 6-footer. Tight end is Spencer Woodworth. He's the man to watch receiving-wise. He's number 18. The other end is Adam Brown, number 19. Split wide to the left, number 42, is Lance Bean now. On the counter. Losing his footing at midfield. Tripped up. Man that got the handle on him was number 55 for Cony. That's Mark Malcolm. Had a little daylight there in that counter, Buzz.
He did. It was almost a busted play. The quarterback got bumped by the pulling guard and almost didn't make the handoff.
Afflerbach is the wingback. Ashleman the fullback. In this attack, and Ted Quinn is the tailback. I got to measure. It looks as though they do have the first down, depending on the spot. Well, it's going to be very close. It is first down yardage, as signaled by Frank Barkley. So Oxford Hills in Cony territory at the 47-yard line. This time they run a slot left formation. Kennar is the quarterback. On the pitch to Quinn. Quinn driven out, but he has about 5 4 or 5 before being driven out on the far side. Number 21 for Cony. First man there was Devin McGuire. I'll make it Billy Carrez, rather. Billy Carrez with a number change. He's now 21 because of his insertion into the offensive backfield as a running back, and has given up that number 79, at least for now. To the tailback, Shane Slicer. Slices for pretty good yardage as he gets over the 40 to the 38. Gain of 3. It'll be a third down and short 2 to go.
Oxford Hills quarterback is very short in stature.
Troy Kenner, he's a junior, 145-pounder. And he gets way down under for the snap, as you can see. Gives it to the fullback. Mark Shaw driving, and it's going to be close as the Cony defense did a pretty good job of standing him up. There you get an idea of how quick Tiger Hatch fills from safety. It looks as though they're going to be short by inches, but it's going to be very close. And we will have our first measurement of the ball game with 7:49 to go. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back after this message.
Al's Pizza in Augusta aims to please. That's why they have extra large servings at extra low prices. At Al's this weekend, you can buy any 16-inch pizza and get a 1-liter bottle of Pepsi free, or get a small lobster roll for only $1.99. Stop in and see how Al's can please you with pizza, Italians, hot or cold sandwiches, and all the fixings. Eat in or call ahead and take it out. That's Al's Pizza, 256 State Street, Augusta. Dial 623-8599.
Let Letter Systems in Hollowell guide you step by step through the printing process. They help you design and create a letterhead or business forms which are a true reflection of your company. Letter Systems uses state-of-the-art equipment to provide the best quality, from posters and pamphlets to business cards and wedding invitations. And for your copying needs, there's the Copy Stop. Offset quality at photocopy price. High-tech, high-speed, high quality. The best people and equipment are ready to help you at Letter Systems Incorporated of Hollowell.
Well, a 4th down situation. They came up inches short, so it is a 4th down and inches for Oxford Hills at the Cony 38-yard line. Driving for the first down, and plenty to spare inside the 35 to the 34 was the fullback, Mark Shaw, 175-pounder. The Cony defense, Sean White, the defensive left end, Mark Malcolm and Dave Meager, the defensive tackle, Glenn Gervais is the defensive end, Greg Burns, an outside linebacker, Devin Saban, a linebacker, the cornerbackers, Johnny O'Brien and Eric Smith, the nose guard, Dan Paulin, and the safeties, Tiger Hatch. This time with some pretty good blocking, sweeping the left side, is Ed Ashleman. Cony strung him out, though, and held him to about 4 yards. Be a 2nd down, 6 at the 30-yard line. Billy Kraz was over there for the Rams. Oxford Hills unleashing a pretty impressive-looking ground attack here in their first possession. Slashing over right guard for some good yardage is Mike Med, the fullback. I'll make it Shane Slicer, number 31. As Oxford Hills is alternating running backs with each play. Mark Shaw now comes in, number 20, and number 23 is Ted Quinn, the tailback. Quinn and Slicer alternating at tailback. Cony defense is going to have to solidify a little bit against the run here, as Mount Blue's in excellent position now. Ball loose, taken by Hatch. Will they call that a fumble? No, that ball went into the air momentarily, and very alertly Hatch picked it off, and it is ruled a fumble, and Cony has taken over at the 25-yard line. Very alert play by Tiger Hatch, who picked it out of the air as the ball just bounced momentarily out of the running back's hands And Hatch was quick to pick it off. Good call by the official, too, because that it could have gone unnoticed. So it's a first down and a turnover. Stops the Oxford Hills drive at the Cony 25-yard line. Higgins is wrapped up and dropped at the line of scrimmage. That defensive line got excellent penetration that time for Oxford Hills, and Chris Richards, 200-pounder, led the charge. Richards has 38 tackles, 26 of them unassisted this year. And he is one of the leaders in that department for Oxford Hills, but they have a lot of good defenders. They have an excellent defense. Dameron's first pass of the ball game. Shows pass, now will run and gets to the 30. About a 4-yard gain. That'll bring about a 3rd down and 6. I'll make it a 3rd and 5. Mark Shaw on the tackle. Defensively.
Cony's really, I think, got to start giving the ball to somebody else besides Higgins, because the whole Oxford Hills defense is just keying on number 32.
Devin Saban a split wide left. Cameron's going to go this way, fakes the pass, elects to keep, and is driven out of bounds in front of the Cony bench. He did not get enough for the first down. Brown roved over to make the hit on him. Adam Brown. So Cony with their second punt of the game, Coleman. Line of scrimmage of 34. 30-yard kick. Quinn has finally dropped at the 40. About a 4-yard return. The coverage provided by most of the Cony coverage team that time. Quinn really had nowhere to go.
I didn't get the number, but Bill Carras took a wicked block on that return.
So once again, Oxford Hills in excellent field position at their own 41-yard line. They started at their 43 last time. Very tough running by Ed Ashleman. That'll be a first down and a gain of about 14 yards. And some excellent blocking at the point of attack. So far, Oxford Hills' running attack has been very impressive. Some good blocking and some hard running. Ashleman just broke right through a Cony tackle by the cornerback.
One thing Oxford Hills is doing, they are showing you a lot of different ball carriers.
In this spot last time, they ran the counter after they swept to the right. Ball loose. And he picked up some yardage out of it. It squirted loose. But Troy Kenna, the junior quarterback, managed to control it and get 5 out of it. That ball was airborne for a while. So what looked like a busted play ends up 2nd and 5. 2:35 to go in the first quarter, no score. Oxford Hills drove their first possession, but coughed it up via the fumble. This time, great penetration by the Cony defense. Shane Slice of the ball carrier. Down at the bottom for Cony to wrap him up and lead the charge with the lot of red jerseys was Sean White, the defensive end. Senior 180-pounder. Maybe a 3rd down 7 now as they lost a couple. About a 3-yard loss on the play, and that's Cony's best defensive.
They get good penetration that time.
Time out of the straight eye. And they work to the left side. Quinn, the carrier. Didn't quite get it, but came close. And since they're inside the Cony 40, I imagine we'll see them go for it.
I would think so.
Although it's a 4th down and a long 2 to go. But that offensive line for Oxford Hills is doing a pretty good job of getting people out there and blocking on the sweep in particular. This time they run out of split backs. And back to throw. Screen right side incomplete. Cony will take over at their own 37-yard line. And once again, the Ram defense has come through. It was kind of a funny call on 4th down and 2 in that spot after their running game had been going pretty well, but Kenna didn't even come close to completing it. It looked like a little screen pass, Buzz, to the right side there.
It was, and Spencer Haywood was wide open right down the middle of the field. Hatch, the safety, had come up, and the cornerbacks had taken the 2 wide receivers going down the side, and Haywood was wide open right down the middle.
Saban on a wing to the right. Cameron calling signals. Well, a little room for Higgins up the middle. Got to about 4. Best to pick up so far of the ball game for Cony on the ground. That'll be a 2nd down, long 6 to go. Billy Carrazza is wearing number 21 today. He's at fullback offensively. And Dave Foreman, senior quarterback that had started all the first 4 games of the season, not in the ball game now. Pass over the middle of Burns, 1st down yardage at the 49 of Oxford Hills. And a gain of about 9 yards. Well, that's Cony's best offensive play of the season. When they go to Burns, that's his 12th reception. That gives him almost 140 yards receiving, and he is in 3rd place in the Pine Tree Conference receiving. That's the type of dangerous receiver he is. This time, driven back is Higgins. He met a wall of tacklers just after he got over the line of scrimmage. Might have 2. And then it was nothing but shoulder pads. Leading the charge, number 61, Tim Wood. That's the end of the first period of play with the score. The Oxford Hill Vikings, nothing. Cony Rams, nothing. We'll be back with the 2nd quarter play after this.
All right. Mickey's a mouse, Donald's a duck, Pluto's a dog. What's Goofy? If I can only have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pez. Cherry flavored Pez. No question about it.
Goofy's a dog. He's definitely a dog.
I knew the $64,000 question was fixed. There's no way anybody can know that much about opera.
Movies. Nobody brings it home like HBO.
This is the home of the Hatfields and McCoys. The Wingates and the Lathes. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of who's who at Wingate Lathe Oil Company. There's Butch, Sonny, David, Fred, and Frank. Or is it Frank, Fred, David, Sonny, and Butch? And, of course, the newest lathe. They all do something here. Some are even in the nursery and landscape business. If you can correctly identify the Wingates and Lathes, you get the lowest oil price and best service in town. Heck, we'll give it to you anyway. Wingate Lathe Oil Company, Hollowell.
Nothing ball game after 1 period. Cony with a 2nd down and 7 to go. Brock Rollins now in at fullback out of the high. Rollins the carry has little daylight. Bursts over the Oxford Hills 45 to the 44. Out of the corner, number 40, Ed Ashleman on the tackle. Gain of 2, it'll be a 3rd down and 5. Perez checks in for Cony, and Bobby Porter, number 26, wide receiver, on for the Rams, replacing Saban as the wingback. As Malcolm leads them out of the huddle against the stubborn Oxford Hills defense. Cony wanted the timeout. They go out of the shotgun right side to Porter, and he's going to gets away from one tackle, and he's hit for a loss. That's going to be a loss way back past midfield. That's a loss of about 8. And some good defense by the Hills. Dave Geller made the hit, number 32. And Ralph Peterson, the Cony coach, was trying to call a timeout once he saw the way the shotgun was being defensed. Tried to call a timeout. So Cony now faced with a 4th down and 12. Nice snap from center and a good kick. Picked up at the 25 and hitting all the way to the 40-yard line for a 15-yard return. That was a 27-yard kick from the line of scrimmage. Was Ted Quinn. Looked as though Quinn was going to be hit immediately upon catching the ball and managed to slide loose and get 15 buzz. That was that hurt because the Rams could have had Oxford Hills back on that 25.
Cony had the defenders down there, but they came down in a line rather than spreading out across the field and gave him a little seam, and he took it.
On the counter, right side, and
nothing
beautiful defensive play. That was Burns that was lying in wait for him. That's called staying home and waiting for the reverse.
And then they call that putting a hat on him. He hit him hard.
A loss of 2. It'll be 2nd down 12. Perfect defensive play by Greg Burns. Being hit for a loss, slicing through was Burns again, and a lot of people had a hold of him, and Burns put him away. And the ball carrier was Shane Slicer, the junior tailback. Right now he's at the sidelines wondering if it's that much fun being a hero.
He's trying to get the license plate on the truck that hit him.
3rd down, 2 strong defensive plays by the Rams here. Keeping and throwing has a man wide open. Right sideline, Ashelman. Ashelman hits all the way to the Cony 40-yard line. That's a gain of 22 and a 1st down. Big play. As Troy Kenna faked the running play and had a lot of time as he rolled to the right and wide open was Ed Ashelman, the fullback. And I believe that's only the 2nd time that Oxford Hills has gone to the air, the other being that screen pass that they attempted. No, that was Cony that tried the screen pass. So that might be their first pass buzz, wasn't it, of the ballgame?
It was a second one. They tried one in the first quarter that was incomplete.
So Kenna with a 20-yard completion and a 1st down. There's time out on the field with the score Cony nothing and Oxford Hills nothing. And we'll be back after this message. First and 10 now for Oxford Hills at the Cony 40. As for the 3rd straight possession, they're in Cony territory. Kenna rolls again with time off the running fake. Intercepted by Burns at the 32, and he steps out of bounds. So 1-yard return, the interception, and a great defensive series for Greg Burns. 2 vicious tackles, and then that interception as he dropped back into his coverage. So Cony now has possession of the football, and once again, a turnover staves off a potential Oxford Hills scoring threat. 8:40 to go in the 2nd quarter with no score. Mike Dameron at the controls for this one. Higgins, but the hole was filled. Looked like a pretty good hole there. But very suddenly, Mike Med came out of the secondary to put him away. Check that. That's Shane Slicer that made the tackle. Very active set of cornerbacks for Oxford Hills. Slicer on the left side and Appleback on the right. Keeping Dameron with time. Downfield, Burns has it. A lot of contact. Burns along the sideline. Burns to the 20. Burns to the 10, and he's hauled down at the 7. And a flag is down. They've already moved the stakes, but a flag is down. And they're going to call it back. Now, whether that's an interference call, there was an awful lot of contact both ways at the point of the reception. They picked the flag up. It evidently was against Oxford Hills, and now the ball is being spotted inside the 5 at about the 4. So that was what, about a 60-yard pass completion to Burns. They've moved the stakes. And now they're waiting for the stakes to be set up. Cony will have to rehuddle as they get the stakes now set at the 4. So it's first and goal at the 4. Burns made the catch in traffic as he went right through a defender for Oxford Hills, and then shook off a tackle at the sideline, stayed in bounds, and took it down to the 4.
It was a 70-yard pass play.
Higgins draws a crowd and may have the line of scrimmage back again. Number 77, defensive tackle, was there, Jeff Kimball. Cony went to their offense, really, and that is Burns. Once again, the sure hands took it in, and then he got up ahead of steam, went down the sidelines. Saban split wide to the right. Quarterback sneak. Being driven back was Dameron.
You got a flag. Or was that, or did he throw his?
There is a flag down. And a preliminary signal by the Oxford Hills players, at least, is against Cony. And, of course, they're going to push the Rams back. That'll take it out to about the 8. So it'll be first and goal, a second and goal from the 8. As Bobby Porter, number 26, comes in for Cony, placing Saban with a play from Ralph Peterson. 6:50 to go in this second quarter, no score, and Cony with a golden scoring opportunity after Burns' 70-yard pass run play. Dameron with time. Now he has to eat the football. Swinging to the right side and being hit for a loss. Well, he might have got some of it back. Forward progress will be about the 7, so he might have picked up a yard. That'll bring about a third and goal from the 7. Shaw made the hit. Mark Shaw, 175-pounder. Looking for Burns, but they had him covered. Held him up, in fact. Cony now with a big third down play. A little bit of equipment repair for Oxford Hills. Tim Wood having trouble with his pads, but now we're all set as Dameron looks over that Oxford Hills defense. Dameron rolls, throws in the end zone. The intended receiver went down, and it goes incomplete. Intended for Burns. He lost his footing right corner of the end zone. coverage was there. And now with a 4th down coming up, Cony with a 4th and goal from the 7.
Looks like we're going to have a field goal try.
Mike Farnham on the attempt and Dave Foreman on the hold. Foreman, remember, is a quarterback and could throw, and now they want timeout. Cony was evidently shy a man, and that's the reason for the timeout. Well, Buzz, I don't know if that was going to be a legitimate field goal attempt or a fake, but Foreman is the quarterback and he is the holder, so
he can throw the ball, but I almost think they would go for the field goal try right here. The ball's on the 7. That means they'd put it down 7 yards deep. They'd put it down on the 14. That would make it a 24-yard field goal. I'm sure that Mike Farnham has got plenty of leg for a field goal from that distance.
Well, we'll soon find out as they're lining up again for the attempt. The ball's down, the kick is up, it's good. Cony leads it 3-0. That comes with 6:05 to go in this second quarter. Cony penetrated to the 4-yard line on the 70-yard reception by Burns. Then they were driven back to the 7. And then the field goal by Farnham to put the Rams in the lead at 3-0. And Oxford Hills, who had moved the ball pretty well in the opening first 3 series, has found Cony's defense getting stronger. Time has gone on. However, Oxford Hills has turned the ball over 2 out of those 3 times. Once on a fumble and once on Greg Burns' pass interception. So Farnham, who has given the Rams their lead, will kick to the Vikings. At the 13, out to the 33, 20-yard return. Down for Cony, number 58 was Pat Burns. Ted Quinn, the ball carrier. So Oxford Hills will have their worst field position offensively they've had in the ballgame, that at the 33-yard line. Most of the time they've been in Cony territory, or close to it to start the possession. Double wing to the right. Preliminary motion on the left tackle. So Rodney Bartlett jumps off, and Oxford Hills will have to go 1st and 15. So Mike Farnham has put the Rams in the lead at 3-0. A 24-yard field goal. There was no question about it once he hit it. It was going to be good for 3. Work to the right side, and decent yardage by Jody Swallow, tailback. He's only a sophomore. They keep moving running backs in and out, Buzz.
They do. They've used 4 or 5.
So a gain of 7 will be a 2nd down and 8, as they picked up almost half the yardage on that 1st and 15. And now 2nd and 8. Swallow to the left side. Swallow, and a flag is down. As Swallow has 1st down yardage and more at midfield. And a 16-yard run. Well, we've got to wait and see what the penalty is going to be. I would think it would be clipping.
it's in that area where you'll get either a clip or blocking from the rear.
So instead of a first down at midfield, Oxford Hills will be faced with a second down and 15, same situation they started in, at the 27. So that really hurts. That's a 23-yard penalty. In effect. Adam Brown on a wing to the right. Ed Eshelman with not much room to operate. Burns was there for the Rams, and also Billy Carez. It'll be a third down, 14 to go. The Rams lead it 3-0. 4:28 to go in the first half. And the nose guard, Dan Pollan, gets a break as Cony goes into a six-man front. Swallow again, left side. Swallow off tackles. Finally driven out by Billy Carez. But they're getting mileage out of that play. That's the one that Swallow went 20 yards on and was just called back. And then they pick up some good yardage again. However, they're faced with a 4th down and 3 from the 40 of the Oxford Hills Vikings. And Frank Stoudemeyer wants the kicking team on the field. Took a while to get them there. They may be running out of too much time. Get hit with another penalty. That was a long, big charge put on. The kick is away. And Hatch is going to take it to the 25-yard line. And he's got a 5-yard return to the 30. First man to get down there and spin him around and hold him up a bit was Tom Marquardt, senior 175-pounder. And we have another flag down. Kicker Mark LeBlond picked up.
They're talking to Cony.
About a 30-yard punt. I wouldn't be surprised if Cony made them do it again. They could, because I'm sure the Rams feel they could get better field position out of this. That time Cony went for the block, and they had some people coming right up the middle untouched. But
Billy Carez was one, and he got through the line, but didn't quite have his balance to finish it off. He was in there, only about a step away from blocking that one.
And LeBlond got it off pretty quickly under a hard rush. He's been averaging 34 yards per punt. So they've been having a pretty effective punting game going. Line of scrimmage now is just over the 25-yard line, and Tiger Hatch is standing at the Cony 40. Low snap, but time to kick, and a good kick. Gonna let it bounce is Hatch, and it's taking a great roll.
And they lost 2 yards on it.
And it's to the 28-yard line. So it's a 47-yard kick with no return.
That's one thing that special team coaches dwell on day after day after day on punt returns. Catch the ball in the air. If it takes that bounce 9 times out of 10, it goes against you.
So Cony will go to work at the 28 with 3:15 to go in the first half, and they lead at 3-0. Saban gets the call. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. A lot of white jerseys there, but down at the bottom is number 62, Chris Richards. Porter in with the play. Also on for Cony. Gervais coming out along with Saban. And this time they go out of the shotgun with Burns wide right, Porter wide left. Dameron, and they give it to Higgins, but Higgins is hit in the backfield, so the shotgun draw lost them 3, almost 4 yards. It'll be a third down and 13. Saban back on now, and Gervais. Third down and 13. The Rams may not take any chances here. And they don't, as Rock Rollins gets the call. He gets almost to the original line of scrimmage. So that makes it a 4th and 10. And the punting unit will be on for the Rams. And Oxford Hills has called a timeout with 1:41 to go in this first half. Our line of scrimmage is a 28. So Buzz, Oxford Hills should end up with fairly good field possession after the punt. But only 1:41 to go, and they've just spent a timeout.
Well, they don't appear to be afraid to put the ball in the air. They've had one intercepted, but they will throw the ball.
Troy Kenner has in fact tried 38 passes going into today and completed 17. So he's averaging almost 10 passes per game coming in. So they try to have some balance in their offense. Their offense hasn't done what they would like it to do, though, and today's another example of that, is they have no points on the board against Cony here through most of the first half. Coleman with the line of scrimmage at 28.
Good kick.
Great kick. Fair catch call way back at the 31-yard line. So that's about a 41-yard kick by Dave Coleman, and it couldn't come at a better time. We were just talking about Oxford Hills coming out of the exchange with pretty good field position, but that 41-yard booming punt by Coleman
with no return
and the fair catch call really did the job for Cony. Kicking game, very important, no matter what the level. Kenna has time, wants to go deep right sideline. Has a receiver out there, and it's going to be a flag down. It'll be interference called against Cony.
No question about that.
Now, Johnny O'Brien was beaten, and he reached out and grabbed a hold of the intended receiver, which was Quinn, I believe. Or, I'll check that. I think that was Adam Brown, the split right end. He has good speed, too. That wasn't a bad play by O'Brien, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
That was a smart play. He was beaten. He could see the handwriting, and he just reached out and grabbed him. He could see 6 points looming. Kenner again under a charge. Incomplete. Way overthrown. Intended once again for number 42, Adam Brown. Well, he got strong pressure that time by Mark Malcolm, the defensive tackle, who was right in Kenner's face. And that is the reason for the incompletion.
We talked about that a little early. Kenner is not tall, and a quarterback at that height will have a problem seeing over the bigger lineman to pick out a receiver.
Brown split wide right. Kenner with time now. Goes deep down the right side, but the coverage is perfect this time for Cony. As number 37, Johnny O'Brien, was with Brown all the way. And he was getting help from the safety, Tiger Hatch. So with 1:16 to go, we go to third down, 10 for Oxford Hills. Kenner had a little more time that time to throw the ball. Oh, Brown is split wide right again. He's going to get tired here before this series is over. This time they go to Swallow left side. Swallow spins inside and gets to midfield. So a gain of about 4, make it 5 for Swallow. And Oxford Hills faced with a 4th down and 5 at the Cony 49 with the clock ticking away, 49 seconds to go in the first half.
The ball did come out, but the play had been blown dead. So no fumble on that play. Very close, though.
Well, on a 4th down, they will go for it, and they will get it, and straight ahead, still on his feet and bursting to the Cony 36-yard line, was Ed Ashleman. And that was about a 13-yard gain and a first down that took the Rams by surprise. Oxford Hills calls a timeout with 25 seconds to go, and they still have a shot at getting on the board here before the half. Hard running buzz by Ed Ashleman. He has been very effective for Oxford Hills today.
They've got some good-looking backs, but I can see in this first half why they don't have somebody up there amongst the leaders, because they use a lot of backs. You don't have one fellow in the first half here who's going to carry the ball 16 or 18 times. You got 3 or 4 of them that are going to carry it 5 or 6 times apiece, and that will bring down your totals if you use that many running backs. And they've used at least 4 in this first half.
Yeah, they do run a lot of people in and out of there to keep them fresh or to bring plays in or whatever, but I think Ashleman has been as strong as any of them, although Swallow, when he's come on and run out of tailback, he always seems to run just wide. This time double slot, Kenner Rhodes with all kinds of time, goes deep into the end zone, and incomplete. Ooh, good coverage. Hatch came over, along with O'Brien. That was intended for Spencer Woodworth. Woodworth is the main man receiving. Statistically, he has 5 for 88 yards and is averaging almost 18 yards per reception. And that was into the end zone. If he could have hung on, that would have been 6.
He did get his hands on the ball.
And we have 15 seconds to go, 2nd and 10 from the 37 for Oxford Hills. Kenner, though, in rolling, had plenty of time to wait and go deep. Tony's going to have to mount a rush. Off the running fake, time again for Kenner. Burns in his face now, and it's complete at the 13-yard line. Great catch down there by Brown. Adam Brown, and the clock shows 8 seconds to go as they are moving the chains, and Oxford Hills trying to line up immediately. And we're waiting for the signal. The clock has started. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. This will be the last play of the half. Incomplete. A flag is down. A flag is down at the goal line. We're going to have interference called. It was intended for Brown. And that will give Oxford Hills another play, I believe. This is going to be O'Brien again for interference, as Brown was hauled down before the ball got there.
This should be half the distance to the goal. They put the ball on the 6, and they'll have one more play.
And Cony will call a timeout. No time left on the scoreboard. And Oxford Hills with a valiant try here as they have moved the ball to the Cony 6. Well, you got to hand it to Oxford Hills. They've really managed to come through. They were faced at midfield with a 4th down and 4. They ran a running play.
Ran a draw up the middle, picked up the first down, and then they put the ball in the air again.
And what a great catch Adam Brown made as he was on his way down when he made the catch for that last long gainer.
That was an excellent catch. But now the Cony Rams have got to gather forces and stop the Vikings for one more play to end this first half.
Well, after that great punt, that 41-yard punt by Coleman, with a minute and a half to go, it looked as though Cony would go in at halftime with a 3-0 lead. And all of a sudden, Oxford Hills has moved the ball some 75 yards.
And they have to come up with one more big play.
Well, the ball outside the 5 at the 6, so one would think they would have to go to the air with it, but you never know. They've had good mileage out of their sweeps. Right side, they fake the run, keeping and throwing and being hit. Incomplete, the end of the half. Great charge put on by Rollins and number 54, Sean White, who hit the ball carrier, Chuck Allen, before he could get rid of the football. So at the end of the first half, it's the Cony Rams 3 and the Oxford Hills Vikings nothing.
This is how your dog sees its food. Most experts say dogs are colorblind. Why then do so many companies add artificial coloring to their dog food? It must be to impress people. Bench and Field is a nutritional dog food for dogs. No artificial coloring or flavors are added to improve what's naturally good for a dog's growth and good health. Bench and Field. It's best for your dog, naturally.
Shaw's presents fruits and vegetables so remarkably fresh, so naturally sweet, they almost speak for themselves. Shaw's, the time is ripe.
Quality tile for the lowest price, plus the best advice to do the job right the first time at Corriveau Routhier. Nashville, Manchester, Dover, and Concord.
At 7:02, this is an Easy 95 FM news update. Washington Post editor Bob Woodward is coming under attack from many for his book on the CIA, but he found some support from presidential aspirant Alexander Haig this weekend in New Hampshire. Woodward wrote that President Reagan was gravely injured in his 1981 shooting, and his upbeat exit from the hospital a few weeks after the attack was an...
He's a concerned citizen, a true romantic, and has a taste for fine literature. And now Snoopy's packing up and hitting the road.
You say he got this letter, and then he just took off? Maybe Snoopy felt he needed a vacation.
What should Charlie Brown do?
I think you should disown that ungrateful dog. Disown him?
It's the whole Peanuts gang in a full-length feature.
Snoopy, come home!
Al's Pizza in Augusta aims to please. That's why they have extra-large servings at extra-low prices. At Al's this weekend, you can buy any 16-inch pizza and get a 1-liter bottle of Pepsi free, or get a small lobster roll for only $1.99. Stop in and see how Al's can please you with pizza, Italians, hot or cold sandwiches, and all the fixings. Eat in or call ahead and take it out. That's Al's Pizza, 256 State Street, Augusta. Dial 623-8599.
Well, there you see the time remaining in halftime from Merrill Field as the Cony Rams lead Oxford Hills by a very scant 3 points, 3-0, when at 6:05 to go second quarter, Mike Farnham kicked the 24-yard field goal, and that has been the difference. Oxford Hills drove to the Cony 6-yard line at the close of the first half, but Cony managed to stop them on the last play after time had expired, and the penalty had given Oxford Hills one more shot at it. Here's Buzz and the statistics of the first half.
Well, that one scoring drive by the Rams was set up by a 70-yard pass, Mark Dameron to Greg Burns. And that was the biggest play of the ball game, and that led to the only 3 points scored in the first half. Offensive statistics for the Oxford Hill Vikings in the first half. They ran 30 offensive plays, rushed the ball 20 times for a total of 92 yards, put the ball in the air 8 times, completed 2 for a total of 44 yards. They had 1 pass intercepted by Greg Burns again, who made his presence known in the first half. 92 yards on the ground, 44 in the air for a total offense of 146 yards for the Oxford Hills Vikings. For the Cony Rams, 24 offensive plays. They rushed the ball 15 times, but for only 27 yards. They put the ball in the air 4 times, completed 3 of them for a total of 72 yards. So 27 on the ground, 72 in the air, 99 yards of offense for the Rams in the first half. Penalties, the Rams were penalized 3 times for a total of 26 yards. The Rams 3 times for a total of 35 yards. Individually in the first half, again, the big play of the half was a 70-yard pass catch and run by Greg Burns for the Cony Rams. For Oxford Hills, they use many backs in their ground attack. Shaw had 2 carries for 5, Quinn 2 carries for 11, Slicer had 5 carries for 9, Shallow had 3 carries for 24, and Eshelman had 5 carries for 36 yards.
Okay, and of course, Higgins, they held him down pretty well, only 13 yards and 9 carries. So
9 carries, 13 yards. Cameron had 3 carries for 8 yards, and the Rams just couldn't get a ground game going, but they did. When they got the ball to Burns, he had another catch for 10 yards. The third pass that they completed was a screen-type pass that they wound up losing 8 yards on, but they didn't complete 3 out of 4, and the 2 times that they did get the ball to Greg Burns, it was a plus. Once they got the ball in his hands, he did do something with it.
Okay, so that's where we stand at halftime as the teams are about to come back on the field and warm up before the second half of play. We'll be back momentarily with the second half kickoff with the score, the Cony Rams 3 and the Oxford Hill Vikings 0.
Let Letter Systems in Hollowell guide you step by step through the printing process. They help you design and create a letterhead or business forms which are a true reflection of your company. Letter Systems uses state-of-the-art equipment to provide the best quality, from posters and pamphlets to business cards and wedding invitations. And for your copying needs, there's the Copy Stop. Offset quality at photocopy price. High-tech, high-speed, high quality. The best people and equipment are ready to help you at Letter Systems Incorporated of Hollowell.
The folks at Augusta Lumber present your pal Al, the building bug, with this outstanding buy. Imagine entering your home through dramatic peach tree doors. Imagine brightening your home with exquisite peach tree windows. Then accenting it with peach tree swinging patio doors and sliding patio doors. Peach tree insulated windows and doors are more beautiful in line. Peach tree windows and doors.
Okay, ready to go with the second half. As the captains are at midfield, there you see the score. Cony, 3-0. As they dodged an Oxford Hills bullet just before halftime. As Oxford Hills had driven 70 yards to the Cony 5. So Cony will kick off in the second half. Oxford Hills will receive. And Oxford Hills found that they could move the ball in the air against Cony at the end of the first half. We may see Oxford Hills do a little more of that in the second half. Oxford Hills were helped, though, with a couple of interference calls along the way, but they also had some great receiving, particularly from Adam Brown, number 42, the split end, 160-pound senior. He made some excellent catches on that final drive. It was really a strong pass rush on the final play that saved the day for Cony at the end of the first half. As Sean White broke through to hit the passer and drop him for a loss on the halfback option play. So Oxford Hills will receive as the man that has put Cony ahead now tees it up and kicks it off, and that's Mike Farnham. This one might have gone out of bounds, but covered up at the 20, so that's excellent position as far as the Rams are concerned, as Mark Afflerbach covered it up. He was heading for the sideline, but he didn't want to take any chances with it.
No, because there was some red shirts coming down, and if they recovered it, that's a live ball once it goes 10 yards.
So this is the deepest that the Vikings have started offensively in the ballgame.
Not much there.
Tailback gets the call, and wrapping him up is Devin Saban. And the ball carrier was Ted Quinn.
We can't even be kind and give him a yard on that one.
And Ted Quinn goes to the sidelines and replaced. I think the tailbacks probably have gotten more tired running on and off the field than they have carrying the football.
You're right, Dave.
It's pretty tough when you have to run your plays in with your tailback. There's that counter play, and that was effective. They only tried it a couple of times first half. First time they used it, it was very effective, and they get some good yardage out of it this time. Ball carrier was Mark Affelback. He had about 9. That'll be a 3rd down and 1. Ball at the 28-yard line of Oxford Hills. Brown is on a wing to the right. As they work out of the eye. Quinn, the tailback now. Quinn, the call. First down as he breaks to the 34. Roaming over to make the hit for Cony, number 99, was Dan Pollan. Saban also on the play. So Oxford Hills picks up the first down here in this second half. Quarterback is Troy Kenna. Here's the counter the opposite way, but they had to break it up as the Cony was Greg Burns and also Billy Carrez. Ball carrier was Affelback, but he was hit for a loss of a yard. It'll be a 2nd down, 11. Saban on, replacing Aaron Cloutier, linebacker for Cony. Rolling to throw, all kinds of time, and lobbed along the sideline and tapped out of bounds by Saban. It was intended for Ed Ashleman. And Saban sliced across in front of him and tapped it away. Nice defensive play by Devin Saban. He had a long way to go, too, from inside linebacker to bat that one away.
Well, Kenna tried to lay that one in there with a little touch on it, and it gave Saban a chance to come across. Good defensive play.
Kenna really, as you say, Buzz, really floated that one a little bit too much. 3rd down, 11.
They list him at 5'7". I don't believe it.
Good blocking. Now Kenna gets away from a couple of tackles and fights to the 40-yard line. Not enough for the first down, way short. So Oxford Hills at their own 40 will be faced with a 4th down. Tiger Hatch come out of the secondary to make the play. Tiger Hatch was questionable during the week as to whether he'd be able to play today, but without him, of course, the Rams are not nearly as strong as they are with him defensively. And Tiger, after that play, is out. The line of scrimmage, the 41, a fair catch call by Robbie Hatch at the 35 of Cony. So a 24-yard kick. I'll make it a 34-yard kick. No, 24-yard kick. 15 and 9, that's 24. So a rather short kick for Oxford Hills, and Cony with good field position at the 35. Malcolm leads him out of the huddle. Burns is the right end. And the left end for Cony, number 80, is Glenn Gervais. Maybe a yard at most for Art Higgins. First man to get to him, there were plenty of them, but Mark Shaw, inside linebacker, number 20. 8:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. Cony leading 3-0, and the Rams were able to hold Oxford Hills on their first possession of the second half. Cony out of the power eye. Throwing and incomplete, almost intercepted, intended for Saban, but getting over there to knock it down was Adam Brown. Timed his move perfectly and almost intercepted it.
The Rams tried to flood that right zone that time. They had Burns deep and trying to take the defense with him. But a good defensive play by the Vikings.
So we go to a 3rd down, 9 for Cony at the 35-yard line.
Shotgun.
Cony has unveiled the shotgun today. Sideline, dangerous. Caught, though, by Porter. And Porter has a first down at midfield. A gain of 14 yards. And it looked as though the coverage was there and might even have intercepted, but it was Robbie Porter that stepped in front of them, came down with it, and came up with a clutch first down for the Rams to keep their possession. Nice play by Robbie Porter. Saban on a wing left. Rolling to Keith. See a couple of good blocks downfield for the Rams and a 9-yard pickup as Dameron tucked it in. Showed pass and then tucked it in and rambled for 9. He got a couple of nice blocks downfield in the secondary. The Rams on the move now at the 41 of Oxford Hills on a second down, a yard to go with 7:20 to go, third quarter. An 8-yard pickup. That may be their biggest running play of the day.
I believe it is. It is.
Big rush is put on. The pass is incomplete. It was intended for Saban, but Dameron had little time to get rid of it. As big number 56, Mike Carroll, was in there with a strong rush. Adam Brown, number 42, also with a good defensive charge. So we go to third down and 2 as Cony has gone to the air now early in this second half. Out of the power I, and first down as Saban carries on a misdirection and gets to the 37 and a first down. They had to make the play with Shane Slicer, a junior. So the Rams pick up back-to-back first downs here to start their second half. Mark Dameron has gone all the way quarterback, a sophomore, 5'11", 156-pounder. And he's done a good job in guiding the Rams' attack. Saban now on a wing right. Higgins plows for maybe 4 or 5. Call it 4. It'll be second down, 6 to go. Shane Slicer on the tackle along with Rodney Bartlett. Well, a good long drive with ball control now could eat up most of the third quarter of us.
It could.
We're halfway through the third quarter. Quarterback sneak. Dameron to the 30.
Cony beginning to mix their plays up a little bit more. The pass, a little misdirection. Maybe lull the Vikings into forgetting about Higgins for a minute, and that's all he needs.
Third down 4, and Burns, of course, is the key man here on this situation.
There it is.
Pass to Burns, and he's to the 25 and a first down. Takes a hard hit, but holds on and picks up another clutch first down. Steve French came out of the secondary to make the defensive play. Well, Oxford Hills did not watch Burns that time and gave him a clear opening for that little slant. Quick slant, and Dameron hit him on the numbers. So the Rams at the Oxford Hills 25 with a first and 10. Higgins in trouble, manages to slide back to the line of scrimmage. He did well to get back to the original line.
He did.
Tremendous penetration by the Oxford Hills defense, led by the big defensive tackle Joe Damon, one of the captains. 6'3", 220-pound senior. Well, Frank Stoutemeyer's Oxford Hill Vikings get off to a good start, and in their second game of the season, they upset Mount Blue that kind of set the tone, but they couldn't handle Winslow last week, and now they're having trouble with the Rams here at Merrill Field. 2nd and 11. Fired into Burns, and he stepped out of bounds at the 22. I think at the 18-yard line. That's what, 4 or 5 receptions for Greg Burns. It'll be a 3rd down and 3. On for the Rams, number 8 is Glenn Gervais. Higgins is short of the first down by about a foot. Number 62 was down at the bottom of the pile, Chris Richards, the nose guard for Oxford Hills. Well, 4th and 1 at the 16-yard line. They have to reach the 15. So it is a big play time for Cony with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Rams have done a good job of maintaining control of the football in this 3rd quarter with a 3-0 lead. They give it to Higgins with a lot of room outside. Higgins for the touchdown as he slanted outside the right side, and nobody was there to stop him. And he went in from 16 yards away for the touchdown to give the Rams a little breathing room now. And that comes with 3:34 to go in this 3rd quarter. Art Higgins, 16 yards. And everybody was looking inside, and he just took it to the corner.
He got a great block on the far side from Burns. That's what sprung him.
So the score goes to 9-0 Cony. And Farnham's extra point is good. And it's 10-0 Cony. And we'll be back after this message.
"65 yards and 12 plays.
Where are they? Are they still here? Look at all these darn trees and shrubs.
First the flood, now this. There it is. Wingate Lathe is still in the oil business.
Meanwhile, inside...
Hello, Wingate Lathe Oil Company. Yes, we're still in the oil business. In fact, we've expanded our service department, and we still match the prevailing cash oil price. No, the Jolly Green Giant doesn't work here.
Wingate Lathe Oil, Hollowell.
This is how your dog sees its food. Most experts say dogs are colorblind. Why then do so many companies add artificial coloring to their dog food? It must be to impress people. Bench and Field is a nutritional dog food for dogs. No artificial coloring or flavors are added to improve what's naturally good for a dog's growth and good health. Bench and Field. It's best for your dog, naturally.
Mike Farnham ready to kick off for the Rams as they lead it 10-0. This is Quinn at the 10. He's out to the 26, a 16-yard return. Down there first for the Rams was Dan Pollan to slow him down and get some help. But Pollan fought through 2 or 3 blockers with great kick coverage. So the Rams now lead it 10-0, and Oxford Hills is going to have to get some offense going. They were able to throw the football pretty well against Cony at the latter part of the first half. We'll see if they come out throwing now. This time the Swallow to the right side. Swallow probably has 5 yards. Saban over. Make the play, and O'Brien came up from corner. Call it 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Rollins in, replacing Pollan at nose guard. for the Ram defense with 2:45 to go, third quarter. Adam Brown split wide to the right. Tailback is Quinn. Looking for Brown deep right side with O'Brien, and it's incomplete, way overthrown. John O'Brien was right with him down the sideline. Good coverage for the Rams. Woodworth was the man that led in the statistics coming in, the left end, but Oxford Hills has chose to work to Brown, Adam Brown. They've thrown to him, probably 5 or 6 times, Buzz. And he's made some excellent catches, and he's drawn a couple of interference calls, but that time Johnny O'Brien was right with him. Looking again, and this time it's incomplete, and Brown had not even turned around to look when the ball sailed over his head, and Cony had coverage by O'Brien, and Tiger Hatcher's over, too, from safety. So a 4th down and 4, and I think Oxford Hills, Cony has got Oxford Hills worried because the Vikings went to the air 3 out of those 4 plays. 2 out of those 3 plays.
A little surprising because on first down they picked up 6 yards on the run and then put the ball in the air twice right after that.
Might be a little panic setting in.
There's plenty of time.
Good spiraling kick. Line of scrimmage, the 33. Hatch spun down at the 42.
Good field position for the Rams.
About a 33-yard kick and a 7-yard return. Mike Carroll made the play for the Vikings. Well, Cony's defense holds, second time in this third quarter. So the Vikings have managed only 6 or 7 plays here in this third quarter. Cony's controlled the clock and also put points on the board. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Cony leads 10-0. Cameron ripped down. Good, solid defensive end play by Steve Pulsiver. Their second down, 14, a loss of 4, and the ball at the 37. Well, Mike Dameron has made a very solid debut at quarterback here, Buzz.
He has.
Dameron on the sneak. Gets over the 35. That'll be third down, about 11. Defensive tackle number 79, Joe Damon. Help bring him down. And we have less than a minute to go in this third quarter. A very quick third quarter, as Cony was able to eat up most of it with a long drive, 67-yard drive, culminated by Art Higgins' 16-yard touchdown run. They slide Higgins out left side, but the good defense is there for Oxford Hills. Toby Trebilcock made the play. And Cony now forced to punt for the first time in the second half with 20 seconds to go in the third quarter. Dave Coleman back to do the kicking. Line of scrimmage to 41. Mark Hasselback is going to let it bounce. And it's down by Bob Porter at the 33. About a 28-yard kick from the line of scrimmage, and Oxford Hills will go to work at their own 33 with a 1st and 10 at trailing the Rams by 10-0. We'll be back with the final 12 minutes of play after this.
Al's Pizza in Augusta aims to please. That's why they have extra large servings at extra low prices. At Al's this weekend, you can buy any 16-inch pizza and get a 1-liter bottle of Pepsi free, or get a small lobster roll for only $1.99. Stop in and see how Al's can please you with pizza, Italians, hot or cold sandwiches, and all the fixings. Eat in or call ahead and take it out. That's Al's Pizza, 256 State Street, Augusta. Dial 623-8599.
Shaw's presents fruits and vegetables so remarkably fresh, so naturally sweet, they almost speak for themselves. Shaw's, the time is ripe.
Well, Cony takes a 10-0 lead into the final quarter of play here at Merrill Field as the Rams try to upset Oxford Hills and pick up their first win of the season. Oxford Hills, good penetration by Polly and Pollen, Dan Pollen drops the quarterback for a loss. On the second down at 13. Pollen's played a good, solid job at nose guard. And defensive tackle. Completion out to the 41-yard line to Brown. New quarterback in for Oxford Hills. That's a 7-yard gain. Is Shannon LaFrance, a sophomore, 5'9", 150-pounder. He isn't much bigger than Troy Kenna. Kenna's 145 pounds, junior, and LaFrance is a 150-pound sophomore. But Oxford Hills seems intent on going to the air. Probably because of their success at the end of the first half and moving the football downfield.
Could be. Nothing.
Big loss on the counter. Rock Rollins is the man that was there first. And also there for Cony, number 43, was Mike Farnham. Cony, the second half, has really come out defensively. And was stopped by the Vikings. Down, then 4. They run a reverse and a couple of blocks there, and a first down on the reverse at the 46. Ball carrier was Mark Afflerbach. That was third down, I believe, wasn't it? Buzz, he hit fourth down on the sign.
Beg pardon?
That was third down, wasn't it?
That was fourth down.
It was fourth down? Okay. It was fourth down, I noticed on the far side on the sign, but. So a key fourth down call on the reverse. Not too much doing it against that Cony defensive line. Ted Quinn, the ball carrier. Burns was there for the defensive hit. Gain of about 4. It'll be a second down, and we'll call it gain of 3, 2nd and 7. 9 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the ball game, and Cony with a 10-0 lead over Oxford Hills. LaFrance over the middle. It's incomplete. Ball was deflected, and it was intended for Spencer Woodworth, the senior, 6'1", 170-pound tight end. And Shannon LaFrance getting his baptism now. Dan Pollen out of the ball game for Cony defensively. Big third down and 7 play for the Vikings. LaFrance wants to set up again. And he goes deep. Incomplete. It looked as though Eric Smith, the corner, was going to come up with the interception, but Woodworth managed to get in there and get a hand on it to prevent that. So once again, Oxford Hills is faced with a 4th down and 7 from just about midfield with 9 minutes to go in the ball game. Last time they went for it in their own territory with a 4th down and 4.
Looks like they're going to go again.
And LaFrance has been unable to make connections since he came on.
Reverse fumble.
Fumbled and a big loss. Credit to Burns with the tackle. And it's back at the 40-yard line for a loss of about 7. And it'll be Cony football at the 41 where they spot it. 1st and 10. Well, the Rams are in excellent shape now. And Frank Stoudemire a little worried on the far side. This certainly will shake up the standings in the Southern Division, does, should Cony come away with this victory.
That's right.
Well,
this will make it an even bigger game down, isn't it, Gardner down to Morse today?
Right, that's a big one.
Both of them Morse has 1 loss.
Right.
So
as Oxford Hills.
As Oxford Hills. So if this one stays this way, and if the Tigers can come up with a win, we'll have a three-way tie at the top in the Southern Division.
Higgins, strong running up the middle. Hard Higgins
going.
Fighting his way to the 25-yard line. Great run by Higgins. 13 yards and a 1st down. And that's the Art Higgins we all know and love, and who has not had a chance to get that kind of a hole lately. Cony smells it now. Higgins is the tailback, Carraz the fullback, and the wingback is Saban. Higgins eluding tacklers and stays on his feet and gets hit with a late hit. Are they going to flag for a late hit on that? Evidently not. So it's going to be the line of scrimmage will be about the 19 now.
Gain of 6.
2nd down and 4 coming up. Called a late hit too soon, as it was very close.
Well, that's a judgment call, whether the tackler can avoid it or not. And apparently in the
counter to Saban. Devin battles, but Oxford Hills was not fooled on the counter play. Mark Shaw, among others, defensively for Oxford Hills. Cony's offense has managed to move the football, especially in this second half. Higgins sidestepping tacklers, putting moves on. Higgins in for the touchdown. A 20-yard touchdown run by Art Higgins to go with his 16-yard touchdown run earlier. That comes with 6:09 to go in the final period, and that puts the Rams up by a score of 16-0.
And that was a great effort by Art Higgins.
Did he put a few moves on, or what?
He got a hole at the line of scrimmage, but once he got into the secondary, it was all Art Higgins. A great run. He broke a couple of tackles and then just outmaneuvered the rest of the Oxford Hills secondary. Great run.
He left a couple of tacklers in the secondary just grasping thin air. Barnum drills the extra point, and the Rams are ahead by 17-0 with 6:09 to go in this final quarter. We'll be back in 1 minute. Vikings with scoring bursts of 16 yards, 20 yards. In this second half. And Mike Farnham's 24-yard field goal, and the Rams have had it all their way. 17-0 after just barely going unscathed at the end of the first half. Cony takes the timeout for the kicking tee to be brought on, and while they do, we'll pause for this message.
Let Letter Systems in Hollowell guide you step by step through the printing process. They help you design and create a letterhead or business forms which are a true reflection of your company. Letter Systems uses state-of-the-art equipment to provide the best quality, from posters and pamphlets to business cards and wedding invitations. And for your copying needs, there's the Copy Stop. Offset quality at photocopy price. High-tech, high-speed, high quality. The best people and equipment are ready to help you at Letter Systems Incorporated of Hollowell.
It's the ultimate NFL highlight show. Every Sunday, see the greatest action from every game played that day. More NFL highlights than ever before in one show. Join Chris Berman, Pete Axthelm, and Tom Jackson for NFL Primetime. Sundays at 7 Eastern, beginning September 13th, only on ESPN.
Mike Farnham getting ready to kick off for Cony with 6:09 to go in the ball game. The Rams at this point working on a shutout, and they have posted their highest total of any game this season. Line drive kick by Farnham. Swallow at the 13. Swallow battles out to the 32. 19-yard return. For Cony, Ron Johnson down to make the hit along with Ray Perkins on the kickoff team. And Shannon LaFrance, a sophomore, 150-pounder, still on to do the quarterbacking chores for the Vikings. Go to Swallow. And he hits up over the 37 to about the 38-yard line. Holloman over there along with Burns make the hit. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. But the clock is ticking away those vital seconds against Oxford Hills as Cony has dominated the second half and leads 17-0. 14 of those points have come about in this second half of play as the Cony offense and defense have controlled these last two quarters. Fighting for yardage, number 34, Chuck Allen, the tailback, sophomore. Defensively, Mark Malcolm for Cony. Well, if Cony wins this one, and it's certainly with 4:30 to go, looks as though they will, it's going to really set the tone for the second half of the season for the Rams. Good blocking right side as Swallow gets to midfield and an easy first down, a gain of about 8. Tiger Hatch on the tackle, and the big tailback, Jody Swallow, the sophomore, is still down on the field. Frank Stoudemire goes out to attend to the lanky tailback. Cony defense has really taken charge this second half, and of course the offense also. Art Higgins has run like a man possessed here, Buzz, in this second half, as he has really made some outstanding moves once he's been able to get into the secondary.
A back like Art Higgins, that's all he needs, is just that little crack in a seam somewhere, and He can leave secondary people, like you said, making a tackle but coming up with nothing but air.
Counterplay. Breaking it downfield and still on his feet. And finally, O'Brien tackles the ball carrier, Mark LeBlond. He's all the way to the Cony 29-yard line. And a gain of 21. Boy, he cut that upstream in just the right spot. And had only one man to beat, or he'd been all the way.
The Vikings do have a lot of backs that they use.
LeBlond is, until now, it's been just...
we've got movement on the Vikings.
LeBlond had been just the punter up until now. Comes on and runs 21 yards on his first carry. So the Vikings will go 1st and 15 from the 34 now after that motion penalty. Cony in the 5-man front. LaFrance, incomplete overthrow. It was intended for a Brown, but well overthrown. And they have gone to Adam Brown almost exclusively. Three and a half minutes remain in the ball game, and the Rams lead it 17-0. Brown split wide right. LeBlond on a wing left. Pass over the middle, incomplete. Brown had not turned around. O'Brien went for the interception, but slipped down. John O'Brien might have had one, too. Hadn't have lost his footing. It'll be a 3rd down and 15 to go. Troy Kenna started the ball game at quarterback, played the first half, but then early in the second half they came with LaFrance, and he's been in ever since. LaFrance has all kinds of time. Has Brown, but he can't hold on. Did a little square out for first down yardage at about the 25, but couldn't hold on. So it goes to 4th down and 15 for the Vikings, and with 3:24 to go, this could be it for Oxford Hills.
Well, LaFrance is 0 for his last 5 passes.
The sweep to Swallow, and Swallow gets to the 22. Not enough for the first down, and a gain of 12. So the Cony offense taking over, 3:16 to be exact. And once again, the defense did a good job here in this second half, particularly. And Oxford Hills is still having trouble with their offense, generating ball carries Higgins. Got 2, 2nd and 8.
The Rams just want to take some time off the clock right here.
And this Oxford Hills team, a team that beat Mount Blue by 15-13. Rollins the call. Rock hit the hole pretty hard. Dameron took a hard hit off of the handoff. He took a very hard hit from Chris Richards, who shot through, and Mark Dameron's still slow in getting up now. And we've got a timeout with 2 minutes to go in the ball game, and Mark Dameron's still down on one knee.
And the sun peeks through.
It's only fitting the way Cony has played today and coming up with their first victory of the season, and a convincing one, particularly in the second half, as they took control in the second half and have really done a job on Oxford Hills.
They have. Now it'll be real interesting to see how the Moore Shipbuilders and the Gardner Tigers made out this afternoon. If the Tigers win that one, we'll have a three-way logjam at the top of the Southern Division.
And Brunswick waiting in the wings. And the Tigers will play them next week, and that'll be our game on Channel 3, our game of the week next week from Hokefield and Gardner. That will be an important one. Cony will take the long trip to Bangor next week to play the Bangor Rams.
Well, the Rams from Bangor have, what, 2 losses? Three.
Three, I believe.
3. And Brunswick has 3 losses. That gets Brunswick right back into the thick of things if Gardner can win today.
Dave Foreman at quarterback for the Rams as Mark Dameron comes out of the ball game, and he hands off to Eric Smith. And Smith gets a couple, and Cony's down to 4th down and a yard to go, with 1:33 to go in the ball game, and they're going to go for that yard at their own 33-yard line. Out of the power eye with Higgins the tailback. They give it to Higgins. No, the ball dropped in the backfield and recovered by Oxford Hills.
It's 4th down anyway.
And coming up with the loose ball was Tom Hare, the defensive end. So Oxford Hills with a chance to at least get on the board and spoil the Cony shutout here at the Cony 27. And Cony calls the timeout, trying to get their defensive unit intact on the field. As Dameron has come in at safety, replacing Hatch. So Mark Dameron evidently is okay, shaken up just momentarily. And more people on for Cony in that Cony defense. Mark Weymouth, number 73, a sophomore on. Bobby Porter, number 26, is in there. Number 75 for the Rams, Mike Hugh. And on number 30, Aaron Cloutier, the sophomore defensive back, checks in. What a great victory for Cony as they put it together today, offensively and defensively, and come up with a big victory over the Vikings, a team that was 3-1 and tied for the leadership in the Southern Division before now. LaFrance with time over the middle, incomplete. Nice try by the big tight end, number 18, Spencer Woodworth. But just a little bit too high for him to haul down. 2nd and 10. We're under a minute to go in the ball game.
Ball just a little bit overthrown.
Ralph Peterson made some changes for today. One of them was to put Mark Dameron in the quarterback. That has proved to have been a very strategic move, as Dameron has guided them to 17 points here, their highest output of the season. Driving inside the 10 was Rob Swallow.
He's a good-looking sophomore back.
He sure is. He's got those long strides, and he picks up speed very quickly on the sweep. Saban on the tackle. So that puts the ball at the Ram 8-yard line with 51 seconds to go. And the Rams in danger of losing their shutout, the Ram defense, at this point. Well, a very convincing victory for Cony. At halftime, it was anybody's ball game. Cony led 3-0. And Oxford Hills had almost scored at the end of the first half. They had driven 70 yards and almost came up with a go-ahead touchdown. So it looked like anybody's game. All depended who came out the strongest in the second half, and there's been no doubt about it. That's been Cony. As they stopped Oxford Hills on the first possession after the kickoff to start the second half, and then the offense has scored a couple of touchdowns, and the defense has staved off anything Oxford Hills could put together. However, the Vikings are now at the Cony 7. LaFrance lobs over the middle. It's intercepted by Dameron. Dameron gets out of the end zone just in time before he's put away by Toby Treblecock. But the interception preserves the shutout, the second interception of the day for Cony. And Mark Dameron has hit one whale of a ball game. That kind of caps it off, as has Greg Burns and a lot of the Rams. So Cony with 30 seconds to go in the game, taking plenty of time. The clock is running. And the Rams out over the ball.
Dameron just keeping it to get the ball. Now we got a flag.
That's going to go against Oxford Hills, and out of the ball game goes number 23, Kid Quinn. Too bad to see that at the end of the game. But Quinn gets the boot. And Coney's going to lose a man, too. And that's going to be Sean White, who had an excellent ball game. So both men that were jostling each other are given the gate. Sean White had an excellent ball game. Defensively for Cony. 15 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock. Here comes the water bucket for Coach Ralph Peterson. The Gatorade bucket.
Delay of game penalty against the Rams. 4 seconds to go.
Ball still at the 1. Because Oxford Hill's trying to pick up that 2-point safety to salvage just a little bit out of this ball game. And the Rams trying to preserve the shutout. Dameron, who's gone most of the way, except for a small injury. Quarterback takes it out of danger. And that does it as the Rams come away with a 17-0 victory over Oxford Hills to pick up their first win of the season and drop Oxford Hills' record to 3-2. And it has to be considered an upset as both of these teams came into the game. But Cony came out the second half and really dominated play in that second half and took control of the game, even though they led by 3-0 at halftime. So we'll be back to wrap it up from Merrill Field with all the stats and synopsis of the ball game after this.
The home of the Hatfields and McCoys. The Wingates and the Lathes. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of who's who at Wingate Lathe Oil Company. There's Butch, Sonny, David, Fred, and Frank. Or is it Frank, Fred, David, Sonny, and Butch? And, of course, the newest lathe. They all do something here. Some are even in the nursery and landscape business. If you can correctly identify the Wingates and Lathes, you get the lowest oil price and best service in town. Heck, we'll give it to you anyway. Wingate Lathe Oil Company, Hollowell.
HBO Pictures presents Mandela. Original films. Nobody brings it home like HBO.
Well, the final score, 17-0, as the Cony Rams come away with their first victory of the season, and they do it convincingly against the Oxford Hills Vikings, in a game in which Cony showed marked improvement, as they have each and every week throughout the season. But they finally put it together and upset the Vikings for that first win of the season, and a very impressive one it was, particularly in the second half when Cony came out and dominated play for the final 24 minutes. Here's the way the scoring went in the game. First of all, with 6:04 to go in the first half, Mike Farnham kicked a 24-yard field goal to put Cony in the lead. Cony staved off a valiant effort in the closing moments of the first half to almost come away with a score at the end of the first half, but Cony defense rose up and stopped the Vikings at the 6 and went in at halftime by a 3-0 lead. Then in the second half, it was all Cony, as their defense shut out the Vikings for the half and for the game, for that matter, and the offense rolled at the 3:34 mark. Art Higgins, 16-yard run around right end to culminate a 65-yard drive. Mike Farnham added the extra point. It was 10-0 Cony. Then in the final quarter, it was Higgins again, a tremendous bit of open field running once he got into the secondary with some great moves, a 20-yard run. Mike Farnham came on and made it perfect again, and the score was 17-0, and the Rams never faltered from there and came away with that 17-0 shutout. An excellent job by Cony, and they move on to go to Bangor next week and face the Rams. Here's the way the stats went in the ball game. Buzz?
Thank you, Dave. First, for the visitors, the Oxford Hills Vikings, they ran 60 offensive plays. 37 times they rushed the ball for a total of 185 yards. Where they had problems was they put the ball in the air 19 times and only completed 3 of those for a total of 54 yards. Of those 19, the Rams also picked off 2 of them. Dameron picked off 1 near the end of the game, and Greg Burns had 1 in the first half. It was turnovers that was a big problem for the Vikings, as they had 3 of them, as the other turnover was a fumble in the first half that was recovered by Tiger Hatch. The Vikings had 185 yards on the ground, 54 in the air, for a total of 239 yards. For the Cony Rams, 51 offensive plays, 36 times they rushed the ball for a total of 107 yards. 10 times they put the ball in the air, but completed 7 of them for 103 yards. Pretty even balance for the Rams, 107 yards on the ground, 103 in the air for a total of 110 yards. It's good to see Art Higgins back. Not that he ever went anywhere, but in the first half, the Vikings held him to 9 carries for 13 yards, but in the second half, he had 10 for 66, so he had a 6.6 average in the second half, and that's a good average in any league.
Okay, Buzz, that just about does it. The final score, 17-0. The Rams with their first win of the season. Next week, our TV3 cameras will be at Gardner at Hope Memorial Field as the Gardner Tigers go against the Brunswick Dragons, another exciting Southern Division contest. For Buzz Fernald and the rest of our Channel 3 crew, I'm Dave Daniels. A pleasant good afternoon from Channel 3.
The folks at Augusta Lumber present your pal Al, the building bug, with this outstanding buy. Imagine entering your home through dramatic peach-tree doors. Imagine brightening your home with exquisite peach-tree windows. Then accenting it with peach-tree swinging patio doors and sliding patio doors. Peach-tree insulated windows and doors are more beautiful in line. Peach-tree windows and doors.
This is how your dog sees its food. Most experts say dogs are colorblind. Why then do so many companies add artificial coloring to their dog food? It must be to impress people. Bench & Field is a nutritional dog food for dogs. No artificial coloring or flavors are added to improve what's naturally good for a dog's growth and good health. Bench & Field. It's best for your dog, naturally.